What's up, everybody? How's it going? Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well. I know this is probably the absolute worst day to be doing a live stream because there is so much stuff going on right now. You have all the Twitter files that are being dropped, part 2 by that Barry Weiss, independent reporter. That's all got dropped today and is coming out as we speak. I know there's the game awards are going on right now, so a lot of people are watching that and tweeting about it and whatnot. But there was just too much to go that's happened in the last even 24 hours, let alone all week, that there was just no way I couldn't do a live stream and talk about that stuff. So whether you jump in live or you're here now or you catch it back on the replay, hope you're doing well. But we have a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss. What's up, Scott? Scott is here. How's it going, man? Hope you are doing well. Man, there's, again, so much to freaking talk about. The meat and potatoes of this stream is going to be just James Gunn flipping the DC world upside down. That Hollywood Reporter, that report that came out, just completely people have lost their minds, right? DC fans are losing their crap. You have people asking for James Gunn head, essentially. And I have updated news. He's responded and he's given an update on that report, which I'm going to talk about today. So, but the first thing that I want to talk about that I had to, there's no way I did a video on it. I know a lot of people that have talked about it, is just how insanely dense Jennifer Lawrence is. I don't know if any of you have seen this article. I mean, I'm sure you have. If you've lived under a rock, maybe you've missed it. But Jennifer Lawrence has recently said, let me pull up the article here, and we can get into this really quickly because it's definitely worth laughing at. And this is why nobody likes Hollywood, right? This is why a lot of people don't respect actors and actresses, because they're very stupid people. Not all of them. A lot of the older actors and actresses, they have a lot more common sense in their head, and we respect them a little bit more. But the youth, the younger ones, this one in particular is not the sharpest tool, and she's proven it herself. So, Shaken Bacon, what's going on? Waited for the live stream all day. Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad you're here. You can listen to me ramble about what's going on in the world right now. Bobby, my friend, hope you're doing well. I don't think I've seen Jennifer Lawrence anything since the new Netflix movie last year, Don't Look Up. Yeah, I actually saw that. I have to admit, that wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It was okay. It wasn't, but yeah, her career has slowed down completely, if you notice, ever since a certain someone ended up in jail. Now she has to do completely different work to get those jobs, but that's a whole different stream or conversation here. But so, if you don't know where this came from or what's going on with the whole Jennifer Lawrence thing, her and Viola Davis sat down, had a conversation with Variety. Just, what they do. They smell each other's farts, talk about how awesome each of them are, and, pat each other on the back and all that nonsense. But she had the audacity to say one of the dumbest things I've ever heard an actor, actress, what have you, say. So, and everybody ripped her apart for this. So she falsely claims that Hollywood had never put a woman in the lead of an action film before The Hunger Games. I mean, there's only, I had this in my video, and if you hadn't seen this video, there's only one way to respond to this, all right? And so I'm just going to play it. This is the only way you can respond to something that's stupid.
You are one dumb son of a bitch.
I mean, first off, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? What Stone Cold says so. And he's not wrong. I mean, she is a complete idiot for saying, and I say some stupid things too, but that is a different level of stupidity that is coming out of this woman's mouth. And the entire internet is just destroying her, rightfully so. And that's what we need to do. Again, I'm not really about bullying and all that stuff, but when you say something that stupid and that dumb, you really should get mocked into the ground, because come on, who's going to let that go and let that slide? So a lot of people obviously have taken to the internet and pointed out her false claim into so many levels. I mean, as I said, even in my video, first thing that came to my mind was, well, Sigourney Weaver, Alien? You're just going to crap all over her? And she's not even the first one. Let's see what Scott's here says. For someone that works in the industry, she apparently knows something about her. Oh, absolutely. Well, that would be, she doesn't respect her peers in her industry. Again, if you remember how she's earned her career, she doesn't respect it at all, right? She didn't do much hard work. Gross work, maybe, but not very, very hard work to get her roles in her job. But these are just some of the movies that they listed out that had a female lead in an action role. So you had Aliens, Terminator 1 and 2, Long Kiss Goodnight, Resident Evil 5, La Femme Nikita. Well, and Resident Evil, there was 5 by that time. So 5 of those in specifically. Kill Bill, I point that out. Underworld franchise, 4 movies that had already come out for that. Charlie's Angels, Tomb Raider, V for Vendetta. I don't know if I would count V for Vendetta. I don't know, because it was kind of a shared role, but maybe. G.I. Jane, absolutely. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Cutthroat Island, Salt. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Alien versus Predator. Even these are some of these are bad movies, right? But there's just so many movies that you can point out. Haywire, The Fifth Element, Alien 3, Eon Flux, The Descent. That's a good movie, good horror movie. But there's so many good movies out there, and even bad movies, that had a female lead in it. So for her to say this type of absolute stupidity really, really just is mind-boggling and just shows you how dumb these people are. And that's why I don't understand how people look up to actors and actresses and kind of worship the ground they walk. They're just people, they're just dumb people. just like go to Walmart, go to Kroger, Meijer, wherever you go and shop. They're just another idiot walking the planet. So not really have to dwell on that too much. Again, it's kind of self-contained story, but it was worth bringing up and worth making fun of her for it because it was just such a stupid comment. I couldn't let it slide. I just couldn't. And Viola Davis, too, I will point out, not that it's mentioned in this article, but I mentioned it in my video. She had made some outlandish statements as well, saying that when she was talking about the Woman King movie, that there was no way they were going to do that because Hollywood wasn't ready for a global box office to be led by a black woman. And I heard that and I read that and I was like, well, wait a second. The first movie that came to my mind when I heard about global box office phenomenon of a black woman leading the role, Sister Act. I mean, I know it was the 90s, but the 90s weren't that long ago. Sister Act was an absolute monster of a movie. The budget was like maybe 30 million. It made like 200 and something million. I mean, it killed it, destroyed it. Sister Act dominated the box office. So for Viola Davis to sit there and say that a black woman had never led the global box office before is absolutely outrageous. Again, these people, they live in their own little ivory towers and bubbles. They don't understand things. And, this is what happens when you have people who are so out of touch. You have Viola Davis saying something so outlandish, and then you have Jennifer Lawrence saying something as equally as stupid. So that's right, Scott. Another Color Purple. Another movie that completely killed it at the box office. So these people, they're lunatics, and that's why it's very hard to respect any of them. They're absolutely insane. Execute Order Shill 66. Yes, I saw that. I am getting that's going to be the meat and potatoes of this live stream. There's so much more info coming out since my video earlier. Patty Jenkins apparently, and we'll get into it here in a minute. I'm going to touch on one more story. I just did Jennifer Lawrence being a dope, saying those stupid things. But there's one thing I saw that kind of piqued my interest, and I was like, this sounds really, really bad. And if you remember, if you guys were here last stream, or if you didn't make it and you're watching this on the replay, last week, all the trailers dropped that I wasn't aware of. So me and Pops, we were going through them. And one of those were Transformers Rise of the Beasts. and I didn't know anything about it because I haven't watched a Transformers movie since, dear God, Shia LaBeouf's maybe third movie. I just checked out after that. After one of the robots was like a woman and trying to seduce him and kill him in his dorm or something weird, I was like, I'm done. This is dumb. I'm out. But so I didn't know anything about Rise of Beasts. I remember the cartoon from like the 90s, I think 96. And I remember that was odd, right? Because it had that weird CGI, but I didn't know about anything about the movie. Didn't know how this was. It was a sequel, whatever the case may be. So everyone gave me a heads up and was like, hey, this follows Bumblebee, which I did watch, but I can talk about that later. So I was like, all right, this looks good. I saw Bumblebee. Here, I'll just address it real quick. It was okay. It was E.T. Essentially, it was E.T., but with a robot. But overall, it was a fun movie. It wasn't bad. So now, like, I watched that, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested to see what they do with this. This looks different. Well, I saw this today, or the other day, rather, and it sounds really, really bad. Like, it sounds terrible. But and I didn't say this, but this is what the director said. So we're going to get in this article. Before I jump into it real quick, let's see what a couple of the chat's saying. Bobby, Elizabeth Banks should be hanging out with Jennifer Lawrence because she was on a similar rant a couple of years ago. Oh, yes, I remember. Elizabeth Banks is a very strange and weird individual. A lot of these people are weirdos. Again, they think like the internet, they forget the internet exists and we can look up things and reference the past and call them out on it in real time. Like, everybody, even mainstream media, is kind of like laughing at Jennifer Lawrence at how stupid that comment was. Pretty nuts. Order Shills says, Shelley's Transformers movies are the only good ones. I liked them. Like the third one, it got weird, right? But I don't watch these movies. Like same thing with Godzilla versus Kong. I don't watch them for like the human aspect element. I watch them because I want to see Godzilla destroy things and kill monsters, or King Kong kill monsters, or I want to watch the Transformers fight each other. I don't really care about the human element. Like I said, I thought Bumblebee was okay for what it was. It had some heart, right? It was but it was like E.T., so it was a kind of a knockoff. But it wasn't bad. But it was different. See, Gap After Dark, my friend, how's it going? Hope you are doing well. It's been a while. Glad that you could stop by and hang out for a little bit. So getting to this article real quick. So this really confused me, and I don't really know how to take it. So it says here, Transformers Rise of the Beasts director Stephen Capel Jr. says film will tell a story about Black and Latin culture. So I read that and I kept repeating it. It says Transformers Rise of the Beasts will tell a story about Black and Latin culture. The phrasing, I have a problem with the phrasing. I don't think that's the best way you should phrase this movie. I think you could have said it another way if that was the case. I don't think it should have been said at all. but yes, as Execute Order Shills points out, red flag immediately. Yes, because obviously right there, checking those little weird boxes that's not why I go to a Transformers movie. I don't care. Who goes to a Transformer movie because they're like, yes, I want to learn about Latin culture. I don't want Optimus Prime speaking to me in El Español, talking about, just robot. Like, I just want to see action. I want to see fighting. I want to see, Coco. Coco is a good movie, and that explored Latin culture. Great. It was It was based around the premise. This is just, again, how you just push people away that even had an interest. Because I had an interest, and now I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this? Why can't you just tell a good freaking story? Because when I heard Beast Wars, I was like, man, that sounds really cool, As Gap says here we go again, alienating part of the fandom. Exactly. It's like, we just want a story. You don't need to be telling a cultural story through Optimus Prime. I don't care. Just do another story. Do another show, series on something else. Can't wait to see Ron Perlman's rant about voicing rant since he's voicing Optimus Primal. Oh God, is he? I thought you were joking. That's terrible. Ron Perlman's a nut job. He is absolutely a lunatic. But let's get into the article here real quick. I breezed through this because I wanted to kind of read it with you guys to go over exactly what they're talking about. So let's see. Just kind of to dive into exactly what he was talking about here. It says, asked about the outlet for his feelings on being given the reins to such a major franchise, and the director jovially observed, "You came straight out the gate with that one," before answering in earnest, "It's been an emotional ride. It's been 2 years now. And I talk about having this type of opportunity, but also understanding it." Here we go. "Understanding it's our time," he recalled, "for us to be in this position where we can tell a story about our culture, our people, and see ourselves portrayed on the big screen, blending in these vast genres is special." Why are you making movies about yourself? Like, I don't watch Transformers because I'm like, yes, I want to see white culture. Like, I don't. What white culture did I witness from Shia LaBeouf screaming about Bumblebee saving him? Like, I don't understand at any of this whatsoever. It's like how insecure you are about your own. If you want to make like a good, again, Coco is a perfect example. I love that movie, and I did learn some things about it. It was a great insight. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I don't see that here. I don't care about this. There are not too many people on the actor or director side to be in this position on this scale and scope, and we're doing our best to carry this weight. No matter how many times Anthony and I look at each other on set, tired and all, we realize we're able to do something special, and for a reason," the director added. "We created something special, and it feels great to be in this position. Super honored." I mean, take that quote and then look at what I'm looking at down here below. I'm looking at alien or robots fighting each other. I'm looking at a robot skimming with a Volkswagen bus. Like, I'm just looking at a rhino, a robotic rhino. So what I hear is anything about your culture. Does Hispanic culture or Black culture have secret dinosaur robots that I'm not aware of? Is that something that I don't know. To this end, Capel Jr. then explained the decision to use Notorious B.I.G.'s popular Juicy track. The movie takes place in the 90s. Yeah, we talked about that. So, which again, I thought the sounded good. Everything looked good. I had no problem with the cast from what I saw. So, I don't know. I'm not going to, hang on this story too long. But notably, despite the director's apparent conviction in his statement, history does not fully support Capel's framing that his and Ramos's 2022 participation in a major geek culture project is any sort of breakthrough for representation. So, yeah, I don't know. I still kind of want to see it. I think this might be one of those things where they're just saying it to try to draw on an audience. Kind of like, if you remember, what was it, the Venom sequel? And there's like, this is Venom's coming out movie. And then apparently that was a bust and it wasn't real. So I don't know. I just, it's this kind of stuff that, if you had any excitement whatsoever, a lot of people see this as Execute Order Shill says, red flag. And now it's like some people get complete turn off. And it's like, why do I want to see this? So Gap says, we turn into Transformers to see them transform into other things. Why can't they just leave it simple, blow up a few things? Exactly. This doesn't have to be complex, right? Think about what Transformers is. The cartoon, the previous movies. It's just, we just want to turn our brain off and forget about our job, taxes, life problems. We just want to see fun things. We just want to, I don't want to be preached to. I don't need us, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And I thought, did other Transformer movies relate to one audience over another? I don't understand. I mean, it's just people blowing up and explosions. So I don't know. Execute says, you could see it for me, Matt. Yeah, I might have to sail the 7 seas. That's probably one of those movies I'm going to wait and see what happens. Maybe some other people that I trust, reviewers, and then we'll go from there after that. But all right, well, let's get into some of the the meat and potatoes of this stream, the major thing, because there's a lot to talk about. Like I said, I wanted to bring this up just because I thought like this was just so stupid, and it kind of ruined it for me when I heard that. But I guess we'll wait and see. I don't know. Just why can't we just have, this is why we can't have nice things anymore, everybody. But DC, James freaking Gunn. James Gunn has turned the DC world upside down. So if you're not aware, if you haven't been paying attention, or you weren't able to see either the report that I did earlier or other people, because everybody's talking about it, the Hollywood Reporter came out yesterday and just dropped all kinds of news, okay? All kinds of stuff about Wonder Woman 3 effectively being Patty Jenkins' movie being scrapped. Reportedly, Henry Cavill's Man of Steel 2 might be canceled. Black Adam sequel probably done. They're talking about Jason Momoa is going to be recast as Lobo. They're going to get rid of him as Aquaman. Like they are just wiping the slate clean. The Snyderverse is essentially dead, and they're all starting from scratch. Apparently, the movies that are still coming out, you got Shazam, you have the other Aquaman movie, and then you have The Flash. All those movies are still going to come out, but they mean nothing. And then they're just going to rebrand and restart over. So it's been a wild ride. I want to show you guys this real quick, and then I will go over some of the updates, because we do have some updated stuff that came out today that I haven't had. It came out probably in the last maybe hour or so, but it's worth talking about. So these are the tweets from yesterday, where everything kind of dropped. So the first one, like I said, Wonder Woman 3, dead in the water. They spoke to Patty Jenkins, the director. Now look, Wonder Woman 2 wasn't good, right? That was an absolute bomb of a movie. It was atrocious. So I'm not really that upset that Patty Jenkins is gone and not doing this, because I think she did a good first one, but she didn't direct it, or I think she wrote it and she didn't direct it, but I know she had someone like kind of supervising her and keeping her in line. First one was good. The second one, my understanding is Patty Jenkins was just doing whatever she wanted, and that's why it turned into a complete disaster. So here, they apparently, Saffron and James Gunn sat with her, looked over the script, and was like, no, this ain't gonna cut it. You gotta go. Here's your walking papers. So, but Wonder Woman as of right now is dead in the water. Execute says, yeah, DC is an absolute shit show right now. Yes, it is up in arms. People are, look at the trending tweet right here, if you could see it on screen. Fire James Gunn. People are furious. People are so mad right now. All the Snyder fans and whatnot. I like the Snyder verse, I guess, or some of it. I don't like how it was potentially supposed to end, but I like the cast. I think that they mishandled these characters. I think Ben Affleck was a great Batman. I think Henry Cavill's an amazing Superman. I even think Gal Gadot did a great Wonder Woman, but it was just so mishandled and just terrible. Everything going on with that studio was a complete joke, and it really sucks that we missed out on a lot of that opportunity, but we'll see. So another thing that came out, and I have a lot of people arguing with me about this, like a lot of stands about Black Adam, which, mind you, I actually enjoyed Black Adam. I didn't hate it. I thought it was good. So, I liked it. But now they're saying that it's losing money, more money than they anticipated, and more than likely it's not going to get a sequel. So let's see here. Bobby says, I don't know the Snyderverse had Ezra Miller. I don't know that. Yeah, I know. It did have both of them. So, yeah, I agree. Like, having them in there was a rough deal considering their past. But I know Ben Affleck, right, regardless, he's not coming back, because my understanding is he and Matt Damon just created their own production company. So that's normally a bad sign. Usually, if that's the case, he's going to stay, unless he's doing favors for someone, right, or whatever the case may be. But he's going to be working with his production company, doing movies for them exclusively and not really going out. So once that news came out, a lot of people were like, yeah, he's done. He's probably not coming back. I would have just liked to see these characters, whether it not be the Justice League or the actual Snyderverse. Some of these characters could still have been used to do some great things. Tim's Talk, how's it going, my friend? How are you doing on your left? I don't know what on your left means. But yeah. But thank you for being here and hanging out. I appreciate it. But yeah, Black Adam. So apparently, I know The Rock's been coming out saying like, oh, they're profitable, but apparently the word is they're really not profitable. I don't know if he's trying to like gaslight fans to get the fans around it to try to keep the pressure going. Because you got to remember, they just brought Henry Cavill back at the end for that movie. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, sorry, but Henry Cavill's already announced all over the internet, like, hey, I'm ready, I'm back, I want to be Superman. And then all this stuff's come out now. So it looks like Black Adam will not be getting a sequel. It's unlikely. I don't know. He might still be in the universe at some point, but he's not getting his own secondary film. So as of now, if this is true, the Flash movie, they filmed some scenes for Henry Cavill. He's going to cameo in it. He's supposed to appear in it. I believe even Ben Affleck's supposed to appear in this movie. But now the studio is debating whether to include the scene in the final cut. So, and I even said it in my video, I thought that the Flash movie is going to be the movie that determines it all, right? In the sense of they're either going to erase everything and start over. But then I realized that they pushed this movie up ahead of Aquaman. So if they use this movie to erase everything, and then they have Aquaman come out after, that's not going to make sense. So I don't know what the hell's going on, guys. I really don't. I would assume if you're going to erase this and start over and start from scratch, you're going to use the Flash to do it. He's going to do his little, time warp thing, Flashpoint, that kind of concept, and erase everything and start from scratch. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. So again, like I mentioned, with Jason Momoa, it looks like they are wanting to end him as Aquaman in that franchise, and they want to recast him as Lobo, which again, if you look at here, he'd fit that role pretty well. But it would just be weird because you know him so much already as Aquaman, and now it's Lobo. So it's not the worst thing in the world. But Aquaman, they say, may have a cameo in The Flash. Again, still unclear. It's just, all up in the air. Execute, yes. So they are still releasing The Flash. My understanding is that, and I've heard this from Chris Gore multiple times on some live streams that he's been on, and he has a lot of insight. If you know who that is, I'm sure you do. Has a lot of insiders within Hollywood and stuff. I think he's even seen it, my understanding. But they said that the reaction to this movie, like the early reactions and stuff, the people that have went to the test screenings are super positive. People are loving that film. So they're still moving forward with The Flash. It's still going. It's still going to happen. Now, what actually happens within the movie, I think there's a lot of, recuts and whatnot, and they're changing a lot of things around because of they have, what the story and how they're going to play things out matters. So who knows, man? It's such an absolute clusterfuck, to be honest with you. But, here we are. So that's the other part. And then the biggest news of all was that Man of Steel was in active development, but now it's unclear if it's happening at all. And I think that was the worst thing that I heard about this. I mean, listen, I really wanted to see Ben Affleck come back as Batman. I really think he could have he did well for what he was given, right? But he just fit the part real well. And I would have loved to have seen him with versus Deathstroke they were talking about, or have that little HBO Max series. It would have been so cool. I think he just did it great. And that's a letdown. But man, Henry Cavill, can you picture anybody right now that could do a better job at Superman than him? I'm sure there are, right? Because at first, I'm sure when people were talking about him, they were like, I don't know. But I don't know. I just think he's such a fantastic Superman. And I think given a better kind of script and act and director and whatnot, they could really make something noteworthy to the older Superman movies that came out before. So Let's see what Gap says here. James Gunn needs a lobotomy if this comes to pass. Yeah, and I'm going to get to, because he's actually responded. That's the one thing I'll say about James Gunn, is that he is active on Twitter. Like, he's not leaving people in the wind. He did speak up, and he's given us some updates. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. And I don't know if it's good what he said or if it's bad. But so scrolling through here, some more information from Culture Crave that came out about this stuff. So let's see. But before I get into what James Gunn has said about the Patty Jenkins movie, so it says here, DC reportedly still wants Gal Gadot to play Wonder Woman. So that's hope. That, to me, provides hope that Henry Cavill might be able to still be around, and some of these other characters might still be able to reprise their roles, if that's the case. Because if you keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, but everyone else is changing, that's weird, right? So who knows? We'll have to see. But apparently Patty Jenkins was offered the chance to rewrite Wonder Woman 3, and she declined. So she didn't get fired. She didn't get let go. Apparently, rumor has it, is they read her script and was like, this is not going to fit what we're creating here. But while we're giving you the opportunity to rewrite it, make some changes, fill you in on what we're trying to do. And she was like, nah, no thanks. So, oh well. Her script had character arc problems, which reportedly rivaled that of Wonder Woman 1984. And again, if you've watched that movie was an absolute disaster. It was a mess. It was all over the place. So, and James Gunn, look, whether you like him or not, whatever the case may be, you got to give the guy credit what he's good at. I think he's pretty good at what he does. Now, he is very, very good at making characters that are unknown and making them a household name. He's done that with Guardians of the Galaxy. You got to give him props for that. I mean, Guardian of the Galaxy is probably some of my best favorite Marvel movies that have come out, besides anything like Spider-Man related, because nothing's beaten Tobey's Spider-Man, right? 1 and 2, come on. I'm sorry, but call me old school nostalgia, but those movies are my movies. But James Gunn's good at what he's doing. Peacemaker, he made, when that series came out, I was like, why on God's earth would I ever care about this character or want to see what's going on? And then I started watching it and I had a blast. That was such a good show. I really enjoyed it. It's not the best show, but it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was fun. You know, James Gunn's doing his music thing, adding that in there. And it was, I liked it. It wasn't bad. And then, you know, the Suicide Squad had some problems, but still, it was enjoyable. It definitely, again, brought characters that I'd never had known before. And I was like, what the hell is Polka Dot Man? But then I liked Polka Dot Man towards the end of the movie. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but they were fun movies and they were good. So I had some hope with James Gunn. But again, a lot of this is all up in the air right now and nobody knows what's going on for sure. Apparently, the latest bit of news and the last thing that I was able to get from Culture Crave before I get into, you jumped on me, you bastard. Before I get to actually what James Gunn said, I didn't even know this, but a solo Batman movie starring Michael Keaton was apparently in the works or was being talked about. And now that's been canceled. And as sad as that makes me, I don't know how I feel about it, because I do love, like, probably one of my favorite Batman movies of all time, Batman Returns. Batman Returns is awesome. I love that movie. So it kind of saddens me that we won't see him, you know, in the suit again doing his own thing. But how old is Michael Keaton? You know, like, what are you going to do? Unless it was, you know, Batman Beyond, something like that. And I thought I just saw something in here about that. So, oh, well, here you go. So, live, breaking. The canceled Batman movie with Michael Keaton was reportedly going to be Batman Beyond. That is terrible. What are they doing? Oh, my goodness. Why would you cancel? I guess I get it. I understand why. If they're trying to make it continuity, one storyline. But man, Michael Keaton would be a perfect old Bruce Wayne to do Batman Beyond. That sucks. That's a massive loss. Dude, look, this just came out 9 minutes ago. 9 minutes ago, this just leaked. Man, that's crazy. Let's see. I think James Gunn is going to set up a good DC universe. I think so. I think he is. But man, but this kind of stuff worries me a little bit. And I get it, right? It's probably set up because they can't release that movie now or anytime soon because they have an overall story arc that they want to do with Batman. So you can't jump from today to the past to whatever the case may be, or to the future. So I get it, but man, that would have been cool. That would have been really cool. The only hope is, and you guys tell me in the chat if you would have liked this, if they do decide to do this movie in the future, and then you bring back Ben Affleck later on down the road, maybe make him old man Batman for Batman Beyond. I wouldn't mind that. Or even if they did a rendition of The Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller's version, and you have Ben Affleck play an old man Batman like that, that'd be sick. I'd be okay with that. Let's see. They'll just age him or de-age him. Yeah, that's got, man. Scott, you saw I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah, the Indiana Jones crap. Oh, it looks so bad. That de-aging stuff looks terrible. Looks so terrible. Yeah, that's an L. That is an L because I've been calling for a movie like this for a long, long time. Very long time. And to see that now flushed down the toilet, I don't know. I like to see Michael Keaton in a Batman Beyond movie passing the... Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be great. And then, I mean, I can't think of any other because he's such an iconic Batman. The only way that me personally, I don't think a lot of people would like this, like I said just a minute ago, is if we talk maybe 4, 5, 6 years down the road and they decide to do this Batman Beyond, and then you use like Ben Affleck's Batman, or Ben Affleck because he's older and he's Batman, kind of jacked Batman. But I don't know. That's disheartening. Let's see if anything else came out, because all kinds of stuff is dropping, but it doesn't look like there's any other news here. But let's get to the James Gunn response that he had posted here. So, because this is actually very telling. And I do like that he actually owned up to it and said it, right? So let me get the screen up here. All right. And I'll make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it in case you can't, in case you're on a smaller screen. So I'll read this. So this is what James Gunn said about the report that came out. So, as for the story yesterday in the Hollywood Reporter, some of it is true, some of it is half true, some of it is not true, and some of it we haven't decided yet whether it's true or not. Okay. Although this first month at D has been fruitful, building the next 10 years of story takes time, and we're still just beginning. Peter and I chose to helm DC Studios knowing we were coming into a fractious environment, both in the stories being told and in the audience itself. And there would be an unavoidable transitional period as we moved into telling a cohesive story across film, TV, animation, and gaming. I like that. But in the end, the drawbacks of the transitional period were dwarfed by the creative responsibilities and the opportunity to build upon what has worked in DC so far and to help rectify what has not. We know we are not going to make every single person happy every step of the way, but we can promise everything we do is done in the service of the story and in the service of the DC characters we know you cherish and we have cherished our whole lives. As for more answers about the future of the DCU, I will sadly have to ask you to wait. We are giving these characters and the stories the time and attention they deserve, and we ourselves have a lot more questions to ask and answers. So there you have it. That's where we're at right now. That's his response. Not the worst response in the world, but it just shows you that at least they're being honest and they're saying, like, we still don't 100% know how this is all going to phase out. Because you got to understand, too, all of us on the internet, me, whoever else, like we're hearing this and we're all losing our mind, like what's going on. Imagine what Henry Cavill, which he may have heard this maybe prior, but if he didn't, he heard that report. And then you have The Rock hearing this report and Gal Gadot hearing this report. Like maybe all these people are hearing this stuff and they're like, what's going on? Like, and they're freaking out too. So it's cool that he chose to speak about it and then just leave us all in the wind, kind of, guessing and scratching our heads. So let's see here. Indy 5 is going to suck. You are absolutely correct. I just did a member live stream. I have my member live streams on Sunday mornings, and we were talking about time travel movies because obviously Indy 5 is going to have some time travel, and that movie looks absolutely like it's going to be garbage. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy is involved, right? Lucasfilm, they're going to destroy it. We already know what they're going to do. James Mangold has been having meltdowns and calling anyone who questions rumors basement dwellers, right? He's went off and went on some unhinged rants for quite a while now. So I have no desire to see that movie whatsoever, and I hope it flops, to be quite honest with you. Scott says, yeah, very worried about it. Yeah, and I love Indy, right? I love the first one. The second one's okay. It's not bad. Third one was great. The other one, the last one that came out, to me, doesn't exist because it's terrible. I hate to break it. Like, I hate the last one with the stupid fridge nuclear bomb thing. God, that was just awful. But this one I have zero. Like, it's so weird, that whole and I'm not trying to get off the topic of this, but since we brought it up, the whole de-aging crap looks so bad. You can clearly see that it's a stunt man running around and they're just putting a fake face on him. It just looks so off and odd. It's okay for scenes like, if you remember Rogue One, when there's like a younger Leia turns around, right? Or Moff Gideon, whatever, right? And you have his face on there. Like, those quick scenes, not bad. But when you have like a action where he's riding a horse and doing all this other stuff, it's not good. It's not good at all. Let's see. Okay, I like in the service of the story and the fans. Yeah, so getting back to this, it's, here, real quick, because I just saw Bobby's message pop up. That one scene where he's whipping at the group of guys in like a restaurant and they all of a sudden they just start shooting, look terrible. Yeah, he's whipping at him, right? And then they all draw guns, wait. He like panics, drops down, and then they fire. It just looks, I don't know. It looks very, very rough, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure it's going to be atrocious. But yeah, getting back to his choice of words that he said, right? I mean, he's being honest. He's being honest with the fans and saying, like, he's putting what's best, like the best foot forward for the universe. And I think he is really doing that. Now, I do know, like I said, James Gunn is an expert at bringing up and bringing to life these kind of subpar characters. And I don't mean subpar. I just mean, like, I guess probably not the best wording. More, not as well-known characters to like the general public or to normies and whatnot. Like Elastic Man, things like that. Like, that's going to be cool. And it is cool that they're going to have it cohesive. Now, one thing that does excite me that he does mention animation. WB or Warner Brothers with DC animation is phenomenal. The animated movies are great. And I think if they're going to finalize the Snyderverse, like if you want to finish that story and do that, do it through animation, maybe do a one-off or something. I don't know. Maybe they can't do it, but I this does kind of give me a little bit of hope, but you still have people that are just so furious about this. And I mean, I don't know. I just think that there's still a lot left to discuss and there's still a lot of unknowns of what's going on. So I personally, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that based on all this, do you think Henry Cavill is done as Superman? Personally, I don't think so. I think maybe they've scrapped the story that they were working on in favor of, kind of like, let's put it on hold and rebuild, because I know they're in meetings right now, that weekly meetings with Zaslav, and they're talking about the story that's going to take place, like he said, in the next 10 years. That's massive. And you got to remember too, James Gunn's been in Marvel, so he knows how they do things in the process, and it's all been laid out. So he's got the framework of how they were successful, not anymore, how they were successful. So he's taking that framework, bringing it here and saying, okay, this is the skeleton, and now we just got to put the pieces on to make it work. So I don't know. It's going to be crazy, but I think the reason why they are taking their time is they know that Marvel right now is in some turmoil. Things over there are not going well. I mean, obvious reasons, right? Look what's going on in Marvel. We can actually talk about that because I have some time with the failure of Phase 4 and how they've openly admitted that Phase 4 was a complete failure. And now they're talking about, hey, we need to do a transition. We need to change it up a little bit. Now, do I think they're going to change things drastically and not go the woke route? No, I don't think that's the case. I think they're still going to keep that train moving forward, and they still have activists that they've hired, right? The people who hate the source material to openly talk about it. They're still going to do that type of nonsense. But I think, over in DC here, they definitely have an opportunity to jump on that sinking ship, or jump off, or to capitalize. That's the best word. Capitalize off of the sinking ship as Marvel and really steal some fans, because we all just want good comic book movies. We want to try to stay as close to the source material as possible. I'm like a lot of you, right? I don't like the gender and race swapping. It's annoying. Even if it's a good casting, it's just dumb. I don't like it. I just stick to the source material, because there's plenty of characters out there that they can bring to life that you don't have to race swap, that are just good. But I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Scott says here, with all the turmoil these studios cause with Marvel and DC, I'm actually glad Sony... Oh, Scott, that is the comment of the day. Even Gap After Dark agrees. That's why, like, when I talk about Phase 4, I don't include Spider-Man, because Sony still has, majority ownership, and they have majority, like, I think they even have majority creative control of how Spider-Man is dictated, because they own that. So happy that somebody has not... I mean, can you imagine if Marvel had complete control right now of Spider-Man? Oh my God. It would be... I think, honestly, if that was the case, Spider-Man would have been gone already. You had Spider-Girl in there. Spider-Man would have been dead, moved on, whatever, and you would have like Spidey Gwen taking over the reins. So Gap says, no, I think they recognize that the fans really want Henry Cavill, so to them, that means dollar signs. Absolutely, and I said that in my video. I mean, Henry Cavill is a money printing machine. Besides the government, like, Henry Cavill will print money for them, because you know that if Henry Cavill comes back in his own film, donning the suit, everyone's going, I'm going. I will go and see that movie for sure, without a question. So I think for them to turn that down would be silly. I like the Shazam movies, right? So I wouldn't mind if they kept that casting. What's his name? Zach, or I can't remember the guy's name that does, that's casted as Shazam, but I really enjoyed those films. I thought they were really done well. So I hope maybe those aren't scratched and they can keep those. But I don't know. I guess he's kind of getting old, so I don't know if they'd be able to keep that or not. But yeah, crazy stuff going on with DC. All this stuff, like I said, the fact that he responded was good, but it kind of put me at ease for a little bit. And I love the picture, right? I mean, I want to see a Green Lantern movie. I want to see some of these other movies that there's these characters that they haven't touched on. I want to see Green Arrow. Got Hawkman there. I would love to see even Black Adam, like the way they portrayed Dr. Fate was so well done. Like, I would love to see a previous movie more about him, because I've heard of Dr. Fate, but I didn't know much about him. So now when I watch the movie and they did it very well, I'm like, oh well, I really want more of that. Like, give me more. I want to research the character. I would love to explore that character more, but I don't know. Scott says, everyone was complaining about Sony having Spider-Man, and in the end of the day, they have the last laugh. Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would complain about Sony having Well, that's the stands, right? That's the loony stands that love Marvel, and they just eat up everything that they come out with. And what's interesting now is, Marvel understands the problem that they're in. So now, like, a lot of the rumors are coming out that they're trying to bring back Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man. They're bringing back Wolverine, right? So all these new characters that they're bringing out, all the woke nonsense, nobody wants those. Nobody's watching them. Nobody cares. I think Wakanda is going to lose money. It's my understanding, especially with Avatar coming out now. It's supposed to slow down. They're not going to hit that 800 million mark that they need, I think, to break even. So they might lose money. So they're in a heap of trouble. Let's see. Execute Order Shield 60. Didn't Ryan Reynolds do a green? Yes, he did. He did a terrible, terrible Green Lantern movie. I think they joke about that in Deadpool, right? Sort of. Because I don't think they can. They mentioned it, but yeah, that movie was awful. Dear God. I'm excited to see him in the next Deadpool, though, if they do it correctly, right? If Marvel has the stones to let him have the creative control and do what made Deadpool as successful as it was. If they interfere, if they to skew it to like downplay it or make it kind of like PG-13 or whatever, no way. It's going to be a failure. Sorry, guys. I was going to end up losing my voice if I didn't drink anything. But yeah, I remember there was a joke about, like, he went through after Deadpool 2 with like the little time thing from Cable and started going through time. He killed like the old Deadpool from that horrible X-Men movie from years ago where he didn't have a mouth. Oh, that was so stupid. God, that was so... I remember watching that movie in theaters and I was like, that's Deadpool? I was so disappointed. So disappointed. But yeah, there were some other things too, I think, that came up that I want to talk about with Marvel. Like I said, the failure of Phase 4, and I guess that's good. I'm kind of glad that things are kind of going bad, and they're understanding like, hey, we need to make some changes because this did not go well for us at all. But I don't know. I'm excited to see Guardian. The only thing Marvel coming up that I'm excited to see is Guardians of the Galaxy. That trailer looked awesome. Even though Pops, my good friend Pops, if you're not subscribed, at POPS, go check him out. Love the guy. He was on my channel. He streamed with me last week. He said that it looked like Zootopia is in Guardians of the Galaxy. That very first planet they land on, which was funny. But I am excited for this next movie. I think it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be an emotional movie. That's the only Marvel movie that I want to go see in theaters. That I like. I can't even think of any movies that I want to go see in theaters right now. Anyway, I believe Devotion is still out, which is a Korean War movie. That looked pretty good. But other than that, I can't think of anything that's out there. So let's see. Scott says, yeah, there is a joke about it. Yeah, I thought there was. Gap says Deadpool 3 better be. I'm pretty sure it might be, but I don't know. It's, again, you know how they are. It's up in the air. Disney has the X-Men franchise now too, correct? Yes. There's actually, yes, Scott, the X-Men used to be with 20th Century Fox. So yeah, because Disney purchased the 20th Century Fox, so now they own the rights to X-Men. And that was another thing that they're potentially going to screw up, right? Because if you remember, a lot of the showrunners that were running things, they were saying, not the showrunners, maybe executive producers or people high up there in Marvel Studios. I'm bad with names, so excuse my ignorance here. But they openly were saying things like that the term X-Men was problematic. Red flag. Red flag. So I don't know if they want to use the word X-Men going forward, which is really stupid, because that, again, right there, if you do the X-Men correctly, is a money-making machine. The X-Men is one of the largest franchises out there. I mean, it's the most well-known superhero group. Like, everybody loves X-Men. And the fact that, like, they have to dance, or they've pushed themselves into this corner because of all their woke ideology nonsense. So they have to dance around this name now that they can't use. And what are you going to do? What are you going to, like, the term, remember they did a show, it was called the Mutants, that failed completely. X-Men has a branding, like, you know what that is immediately. They're going to kill off Drax. I hope not. Honestly, if Drax actually died, I probably wouldn't be that upset. If Rocket dies, I will riot. I will burn the theater down. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. But I would be upset. Okay, I thought so. Disney probably regrets buying all these. You know, they do, because they're such in a financial hole right now. That's why they're talking about, if you remember the rumors of Apple, they're talking about selling to Apple, because they acquire. See, that was the whole thing with Bob Iger. All he did was just purchase stuff. He didn't really create anything. He acquired things, and he put them in this massive hole. Then you had the coof happen, right? All the lockdowns, massive financial losses. So now they're just like, they're not making money because people are tired of stuff. The only thing that really makes the most money for them are the parks and stuff. Movies and everything are not doing well. I mean, Strange World, that animated movie that just came out, lost like hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, it's terrible. Bobby says, surprise Jennifer Lawrence and go on a rant about being the very first superhero female in a X-Men franchise too. Yeah, Jennifer who? You know, I actually didn't think she was bad in that movie as Mystique. I think she did a decent young Mystique. I think Rebecca Romaine Stamos did a better Mystique long ago, but you know, they did the blue, the weird blue thing. But it didn't look bad. It was all right. But I know there was some other stuff going on. Reports about Marvel. Let's see. Let's go to some rumors. Not that rumors matter. But let's see. Did you guys hear about Captain Marvel's next movie? Oh my goodness. Oh my. Okay, this is going to be funny. I heard about this, and this is not the first time I've heard this. This is the second time that I've heard this rumor about the next Captain Marvel movie. Or The Marvels. So let me show you this and prepare to laugh, because this is absolutely hilarious. This is what the creative brains over there in Marvel have made up. So this is a rumor. And again, I've heard this rumor multiple times now. The Marvels to see Carol Danvers married to an alien prince of a musical planet whose people speak in song. I'm going to repeat that for you. Carol Danvers will be married to an alien prince of a musical planet whose people speak in song. And this makes sense because I remember hearing rumors about Captain Marvel is going to be a musical. Everyone's like, what? No way, no way. So this is what the creative brains over there are coming up with. So you have James Gunn leaving, and then you have this, like, hey, let's make a musical with the most hated person on the planet. Let's make her sing. This will be good. So let's read this. In case appeal of a second outing for the Marvel Cinematic Universe's most boringly overpowered character wasn't enough to draw you into theaters, a new rumor suggests that the upcoming Marvels will see Carol Danvers married to an alien prince whose planet communicates strictly through song. Word regarding this detail was first leveled followed Disney's 2022 content showcase, a live event hosted in Singapore, wherein the company previewed their Asia Pacific content offerings for the coming year, where it was announced that Korean actor Park Si-joon would be joining the cast of Captain Marvel sequel. At the time, outside of the fact that he would appear in the film, Disney provided no further details regarding just which of the Marvel's many characters he would be portraying. However, according to a new report from noted scooper Daniel Richman, it seems So-joon may be portraying Danvers' aforementioned Beau. So they're gonna make. Man, that doesn't sound. Does that sound bad? They're gonna make this guy play the alien. Kind of showing their hand there, huh? It's kind of bad for me. Optics on that doesn't look very good. Captain Bigfoot, formerly known as oh my God. Her disgusting feet are just atrocious. Oh my goodness. The pictures of her feet like busting out of heels like a busted can of biscuits is just nasty. God, feet are gross anyway, let alone her monstrous toes just sliding out of those things. So Park Si-joon is reportedly playing Carol Danvers' husband in the Marvels, posted Richmond to his Patreon account, as later relayed to the public by Disney's news-centric Twitter account, Cosmic Marvel. He's playing a character called Prince Yan, a leader of the musical planet where everyone has to sing to communicate. Dear God. What an idea. Is this the comic that they came from? I guess. I don't know. Created by writers Kelly Sue DeConnick and artist David Lopez, Prince Yan made his Marvel Comics debut in Captain Marvel Volume 8 and 9. Yeah, so these are the comics that they're taking inspiration from right here. The new trash that no one's reading and no one cares about, this is the ideas that they're taking. That makes a lot of sense, right? Let's use the ideas that from the comic books that nobody buys anything from, that are complete failures. Absolute garbage. And also, too, you have to remember that in the Marvel show, right? Miss Marvel, or the Marvel TV series with the little girl. At the end of that, in case you don't know, spoiler alert, I didn't watch it, but I did see the very ending. They made her into a mutant. When I mean mutant, I mean an X-Men mutant, because when it was at the very end of the show, she was talking to one of her friends, and he said like he tested her DNA and it came back with a mutagen or something like that. And then when he said that word, you heard the 90s X-Men animated theme play. So they were alluding to that Miss Marvel, the kid, or the little kid from the show, is going to be a X-Men. So now, how does that play in with all this? Who the hell knows? Okay, I had to look up the feet thing, and oh my God, yeah, it's like a Sasquatch. Her feet are nasty. You ever seen Harry and the Hendersons, where the guy is like trying to mess up the hunter and he's got the fake Bigfoot feet walking around? That's her feet. That's her feet. She's got disgusting, massive flippers for feet. But, hey, I'm not judging if you like feet, but not for me. Especially not those things, dear God. So this goes into the article, explains kind of how they do it in the comics and what kind of portrays here. And then this is what I was talking about. Kamala Khan, is Miss Marvel. And in the episode No Normal is when she finds out that she is an actual mutant. So X-Men mutant. And then you had Captain Marvel burst through the door or something stupid. That's going to be an absolute atrocity. It's going to be terrible. Apparently, Blade is going to be another movie that's just been rewritten so many times, and they got a new director now, and the director that they have for Blade has not done anything good, so it's going to be, oh hell, more BTS songs. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty bad, guys. I have no hope for Marvel. This is the stuff that they're giving, right? So think about it. If you're James Gunn, running DC, and you're like, this is our competition, we can't lose, right? But they got to be smart about it, because if I have to pick an all new, even if they change everything, even if they get rid of Henry Cavill and they start fresh, I would much rather go that route just to see something new than deal with this stupidity that they're doing over in Marvel, because it's dead. It's over. Like I said, the only thing coming up that I have any interest in whatsoever is Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I have no desire whatsoever after that to see anything, because what are they going to do? I don't even know what's planned. Let's see the slate of movies. I know you have Ant-Man 3. We showed on the last stream what he's going to look like. What's it, Kang? It looks terrible. Looks so awful. So let's see. This is the next schedule here. I'll put this out here so you guys can see what's to come from the MCU schedule as of right now. So we have Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is out now. You have season 2 of What If coming out early 2023. So who knows? And I didn't even really care about that What If series. It was dumb. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I don't really care for that at all. Secret Invasion, have no clue who's going to be involved, what they're going to be doing, who's the main people involved in it. I have no idea. Then you have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Echo, no clue. Loki, Season 2, again, no desire for that. The Marvels, that's the movie we were just talking about, the musical. X-Men 97, I don't know about that. I've heard conflicting reports. I did hear they said something about X-Men 97, and that's a series, mind you. I'm pretty sure. Let's pull it up real quick. That it's going to have the reboot is going to have people that you have to be fans of the series to write on it. You can't just come in there and disrespect it. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's accurate or not. It is Marvel, so I don't really trust anything that they say. Look who it is. What's up, Pops? How's it going? You're still live? Aren't you tired yet? Yeah, I'm still live. Hey, it's been a big day. There's so much news going on. So much stuff. And so there was a lot to talk about. And then we've been having good conversations. So I was like, we'll just keep rolling with it. Yes, X-Men 97 will be for a modern time, but it will be a great series to destroy if it's bad and just completely dissect and make fun of. So for content creators like ourselves, Pops, it's going to be gold if it's garbage. So there's really no loss there. We get to watch it, right? If it's good, then hey, it's good, and we'll give them the credit. And if it's garbage, then we just get to pull out our little scalpels and tear it apart and laugh at it, just like Jennifer Lawrence. All right, so after X-Men 97, we have Ironheart. I know all of you guys are excited about Ironheart coming out. That's going to be probably the biggest Marvel movie of the year. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, Daredevil, Born Again, Captain America. Look at how, Jesus, Chris, I didn't even know it was called this. New World Order. Can they not read the room? New World Order. With everything going on right now in the world, you're going to call this movie New World Order? Dear God, these people. Thunderbolts, no idea what that is. And this is, now we're into 2024, okay? So all we have is up to Agatha Covenant. If nothing gets pushed, Agatha Covenant of Chaos. Now, I think a lot of this stuff is going to change because they did say, the timelines will, that when they were talking about Phase 4 and, the failure of that is they released so much content so quickly, right? We did hear a lot of look at She-Hulk. Mind you, CGI was not going to save She-Hulk. She-Hulk was a disaster no matter how good the CGI was. But the CGI on top of, it was already a turd sandwich. And then you just sprinkled all kinds of stuff all over top of it just to make it worse. So, that doesn't help. So they put so much content out in Phase 4, more than any other phase. The CGI was terrible. The writing was terrible. So now they're saying, okay, we really need to scale it back and we need to start, I guess, overlooking our projects and making sure that it's not as garbage. But I don't think they're capable of doing that. It's not going to matter. You still have activists in charge. You still have the same people running the show. You still have all of them doing it. So, take that for what you will, what they're saying. But, Bob Iger and all these people. Remember, Bob Iger just came out after being rehired, right? Rehired. And he said that we're the arbiters of truth. We're in a position of power. We need to be telling the stories that we feel are necessary and pushing the messaging that we feel is important to the public. Like, again, that's how he looks at things. So, yes, Pops, you are doing great. I did watch that. You're revisiting the original X-Men series. So if you're not watching that, you're listening, I would go check out Pops' channel. If you've never seen the X-Men series, you're crazy. Go watch it. But on top of that, if you want to go down memory lane, check out Pops' videos because he's doing a really good job going over those. And the Batman animated series too, which is fantastic. Thunderbolts is a comic book team in the comics. Imagine villains pretending to be heroes. Interesting. Oh, so like anti-hero stuff. Okay. Sort of. Yeah, but I already know your answer. Do you have faith in Marvel to do this successfully? Probably not. This is why I'm rooting for DC, just so Marvel can get a clue and get back on track. Yeah, it's the same thing, Bobby. I want DC to succeed, to say, because, James Gunn and all them, look, reality is, I'm sure James Gunn's pretty woke, if we're being real here, okay? And I don't care if he's woke. Seth MacFarlane is pretty freaking woke. But as long as that stuff doesn't pour into the movies that we watch and the shows that we watch, and they keep it separate from their idealistic stuff, I'm fine with that. I don't care what they think. I don't care what he believes. I don't care how he votes. None of that matters to me. Just make good stories. Make stories so that everybody, whether you're on the left, you're on the right, you're in the middle, you're up, you're down, wherever, everybody can enjoy it. That's what they should be focusing on. Not pushing agendas, not pushing all that nonsense. Just tell us some good stuff that we all can talk about. So even if you are left, right, up, down, middle, whatever, you can turn all that politics to the side for like 10 minutes because it's so overwhelming. But for 10 minutes, we can push it aside and we can all just talk about how good a comic book movie was or how bad a comic book movie was without bringing the politics side of it in. But again, most of these people are not capable of doing it. And the reason why, we know this, right? Like Disney in particular, these companies get these massive, massive handouts from the government. So, but the money's running up. The money's running out. So eventually they're going to have to start relying on us again. And that's where we're going to have to, really crank down on them and not give them your dollar. But twerking even couldn't save She-Hulk. No, it could not. No, not Meg the Stallion. Or is that her name? No, that was, oh my God. That was the worst kind of like weekly event that I had to do. I don't miss watching that show at all. I had a better time watching Obi-Wan. At least at least I was able to laugh at Obi-Wan and Boba Fett. Like, that was funny. She-Hulk was just annoying. Saturday morning cartoons, Batman, the animated series, and X-Men videos. Absolutely. If you want to trip down, like I said, memory lane, good Saturday mornings, that's where you need, check out Pops' channel. Because, that was a fun time. And, it was definitely definitely good to be alive at those times and watch some of the greatest cartoons that are out there. And even I just started watching Batman the Animated Series again, and man, it still holds up to this day. Even X-Men still holds up. So, absolutely. And as Pops, we can end it on this note. No faith. Absolutely, I have no faith in any of them, to be honest with you, until they prove me otherwise. But let's go through the rest of this real quick. Just what they're talking about going into 2024. And again, I think a lot of it's going to be pushed back. But you have, like I said, Daredevil Born Again. I have, as Pop said, no faith in Daredevil because they're going to change. If you like Daredevil from Netflix, I hate to break it to you, but that's it. This ain't it. It's not going to be the same thing. Then we have Captain America New World Order. That just sounds atrocious. We already mentioned Blade, or Thunderbolts, then Blade. Deadpool 3, that's the only thing in the future that I'm looking forward to. Marvel Zombies, that's got to be a that's a cartoon. I think even Spider-Man Freshman Year is a cartoon as well. Not looking forward to that either, really. Fantastic Four, again, who knows? Then you have Avengers Kang Dynasty, Avengers Secret Wars, Armor Wars, a Wakanda series, Shang-Chi 2, yeah, okay, Spider-Man 4, Nova, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man Sophomore Year, What If Season 3, yeah, these are all to be determined. So, I don't know. A lot of nonsense going on. Any Star Wars news that we can talk about real quick? Oh, the Acolytes. We got some info on the Acolytes. Oh, and then Bad Batch is set to come out too, right? Bad Batch. Well, I don't call Bad Batch. It's Omega and the Bad Batch. It's not the Bad Batch. It's the Omega show starring the Bad Batch. Disney Plus Ahsoka rumor reveals exciting Thrawn and Ezra plot details. Could care less. Excuse me. And then I did see this Fallen Order 2 that was released. Some info was released today at the Game Awards. So I am, or Jedi Survivor. I am interested in that because I started playing the first one. It was really good. So I am interested in seeing that and what that comes out to be, because that's going to be like the only game that's coming out. As Scott says, yes, Omega. Her voice is so like it's like someone driving a nail through my head listening to that human being speak. I cannot stand Omega. And yes, we can never forget, if we're talking about Star Wars, R.I.P. Wade. Never forget, because Wade is the hero of the Kenobi series. Oh, they're absolutely going to screw up Fantastic Four, Gap. I have no, again, they're screwing up everything. I have no faith, as Pop said, hashtag no faith in them to do anything or handle anything correctly. You know, they'll make everyone stupid, or I don't know. Who knows what they're going to do? I mean, at this point, again, it's sad that that's the state we're in, right? Like, remember we used to get excited for hearing this stuff, and now we're just like, please don't touch these characters. Please avoid them. Please don't make a movie on them, because then we know you're going to touch it, you're going to screw it up, and you're going to just break our soul. Yep, R.I.P. Wade. Man, he's a real one. They need Omega, otherwise the whole show would be nothing but D. Bradley Baker. Yeah, I know. They need a different voice in that. I don't care about Star Wars. Is just so bad. I mean, here's like the Star Wars schedule. You got Bad Batch coming out in January. Mandalorian got pushed to March 1st. We'll see, right? I have some faith in the Mandalorian, but you know, who knows? Did you mention the race swapping for the X-Men film? Which X-Men film, Pops? Because I know they're going to race swap. I mean, that's, you know. Oh, you're talking about the upcoming one where Professor X, they're talking about race swapping him. Yeah, of course they're going to. I'm surprised they don't. They just need to change everybody. Why can't we just have no white people at all at this point? Like, let's just make it all. let's just change everything. Anyone who's a man, just make it a woman. Well, can they even do that anymore? Can you even specify? I don't know. See, we just go down these rabbit holes now that we're talking about it. I'm just going to end up getting in trouble. Because you can't even say, you can't assume. I can't assume what they are, especially if they're mutants. Who knows? Is Mystique a female? I don't know. Because she can just turn to whatever she wants. So technically, I guess Mystique would be trans, right? I don't know. No idea. Oh, they're doing it. So here we go. Here's the other Star Wars stories or schedules. Visions, which just looks... I like, though, first one was okay. Wasn't bad. You have the Ahsoka show. All these are shows, right? Besides this here. The Taika Waititi Star Wars movie, which probably would never happen. Rogue Squadron's probably never going to happen. A droid story. That's probably got to be a show. Lando, they're not going to do a movie. Star Wars Eclipse, all these are dead. So some of this is all bad info. Black Xavier and Magneto, because they only see MLK versus Malcolm X allegory. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, but then they would have to completely change Magneto's background because Magneto survived those specific camps from back in the day. So if they did that, then you know what I mean? Like they'd have, who knows? But again, I put nothing past them. They don't care about source material. They don't care about, you know, these types of characters because it's all, they just make it how they want. They're the arbiters of truth, as Iger said. So the stories that they decide to tell, they're going to dictate to us. Very little on these. No, yeah. Do you remember when Star Wars, like anything Star Wars related, you'd be like, oh my God, and get amped up and everything. When's the last time you got excited about anything anymore? Very rarely. Everything now, it sucks. It's like you hear about something and you're automatically skeptical. You're just like, oh, is this going to be good? Then you get excited if it is good. But before, it's like there's no more excitement. The only thing right now I'll say, I just proved myself wrong, that I am kind of like a little hyped up about is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's it. And I still don't think it's going to be as good as the first and second one. I still think it's going to be, it won't be as good. They're going to use all the money Disenchanted brought in to fund the new wave, huh? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't know. They're in a lot of trouble. Well, they're going to sell to Apple, and then who knows what Apple will do. Apple will just change everything around, but... All right, gentlemen and ladies, if there's any out there. I don't think so, but I don't want to assume anyone's gender. I think I'm going to cut it. It's an hour and 23. Went over a lot today, so I appreciate you all being here and hanging out with me. Like I said, I know there was so much going on. As Pop says about Guardians of the Galaxy, cough, cough, Zootopia. I mentioned it earlier when I was talking about it, how you said it's basically Zootopia. But yeah, I know today was probably the absolute worst day to stream because there was so much going on. You got the gaming awards going on. You got all the new Twitter leaked info stuff dropping, all the stuff with DC coming out. I'm sure there's some other big streamers going on right now because of all the other stuff going on. So, but I do appreciate you guys here with me. I don't care if there's one person, no one, 6 of you, don't care. I appreciate you all hanging out, talking. If you could smash the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. And for any of the members, Bobby and Pops, like I said, we're going to have that stream on Sunday. Pops, I know you probably won't be able to make it, but if you can, it'll be Sunday morning at 11 a.m. We're going to be talking about iconic movie cars. We're going to go over the list of our favorites and some of the best cars. And then we're also going to talk about probably some Star Trek II Wrath of Khan. So that'll be fun, especially with RIP Christy Alley. I just watched the movie. I figured that would be a good movie for us to talk about on the stream, and then we talk about some movie cars and stuff. So thank you all again. I appreciate all of you for checking out the stream, hanging out with me. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time. So stay safe, have a good rest of your week and weekend, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. So take care, everybody.